series from HarperKids called Little Bakers. My first book of the series is called 1, 2, 3, 4 Cake, a Count and Bake Book. And it's a really cool book where I have a team of friends who will help you learn some lessons in the kitchen while also learning to make the easiest cake ever. I can't wait to teach it to you. You ready to learn? It's a 1, 2, 3, 4 cake. So what it is 1 cup butter, which is 2 sticks, 2 cups of sugar, 3 cups of flour, and 4 eggs. So to get started, all we do is mix together the dry ingredients, including the sugar. Oh, we have baking powder also, goes in with the dry ingredients. Then we have the wet ingredients in another bowl. We're just gonna mix together the wet ingredients now. We have milk, a cup of milk, and we have that cup of butter, which I'm going to whisk in. And then I'm gonna crack my 4 eggs directly into the bowl. This is a perfect job for your little hands. So we just whisk that all together, and we have a little bit of vanilla extract here. And I have these 2 pans that have been buttered and floured. All you do is you wipe it with some softened butter, so like just set out at room temperature, and then you add some flour and you kind of tap it around like a drum. It's really fun. So now I have the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients, and you just stir them together. I told you it was easy. So there we go. And there's no real special way to do this. You just stir them together until the flour disappears. And for the best part, the sprinkles. This is the part that makes it a party. And then it's so simple. All you do is you just divide it between these 2 pans that you already have. You just divide it in half. Now that's it. They just have to go in the oven just like this. So now it's time to wait. What's your waiting face? I think this is mine. Time for dance party. The cakes are ready. All right, so we now have our cakes that have been out of the oven for like 10 minutes, cooling on this cooling rack. And so all we do, this is a job for a grown-up because they're still kind of hot. You lift up the pan and you invert them onto the rack, see? And so they just cool like this. Cool them until they're completely cool to the touch, so they're not warm at all, because if they are, then they would melt our frosting. Excellent. So I'll set these aside over here, and we'll move on to our frosting. So the frosting's really easy. All it is 2 sticks of butter and a pound of confectioner sugar. Sometimes that's called powdered sugar, and we're gonna add more sprinkles later. You just add these things to, I'm using a stand mixer, but you could use a handheld mixer is fine. So I add the butter first. And then I will add the half of the sugar, just so it doesn't go poof in a big cloud of sugar. Now halfway through, it's all that sugar has disappeared and gone into the butter, so I'm gonna add the rest. And go really slow so I don't get covered in sugar again. And then I'll just beat it for a few minutes. I wanted to tell you because it'll get too noisy and kind of squeaky. All right. Excellent. So now our frosting is done and my cakes are cool. So now that they're cool, you put 1 layer on the bottom. I get my frosting here. That's all I can do, not to just like eat it all, right? Patience is also involved in baking, right? This looks so good. Kind of like a cloud, but also kind of like marshmallows. So I'm gonna add about half of the frosting, a little less than half, to the bottom. And then you just spread it around. And we're making kind of a sandwich. And you spread it almost all the way to the edge. That's good. And then I add the second one. So you just squish it down like a sandwich. And the other pieces, the other parts that are kind of a gap, those you can fill in with the frosting on the side. Start with the top if you want, but I go for the sides first, just because I like to. And then I just scrape up all the tasty parts, all the stuff for the top. And you can just smooth it all out later. I just like to get it on there. But you know, I have all of this good stuff in the bottom, and this is what you'd use to frost the top. So I'm going to just get a really helpful tool. It's this rubber spatula, and I just scrape out the remaining frosting. And see, you can even use it to frost. It's very, very easy. And then I take this bigger spatula, but again, a knife or something would work. And then I just run it along the sides. And then I just keep sort of playing with it until it looks the way that I want. Now that our cake is frosted, the best part, let's add extra sprinkles. Makes a little bit of a mess, but that's the fun part. Now it's time for the best part. We get to take a taste. Cutting it is a job for the grown-ups, but you get to be the person who benefits. Look at that. I wish you could be here with me. This looks amazing. And look at all those colors, thanks to all the sprinkles and the dance party. So good. I'm so happy you came and learned with all of me and all of my baking friends in this series, Little Bakers by HarperKids, 1, 2, 3, 4 Cake, A Count and Bake Book. See you later.